All dreams die, so goodbye, middle class.
Central banks are on a mission to wipe out globally an entire class of people. We are literally seeing a reset to this new system, a two-tier society, the feudal system here, no representation here whatsoever, extreme haves, extreme have-nots. People continue to borrow and borrow and borrow more just to try to keep themselves the illusion of existing in the middle class here. The central banks, since their inception, their goal has been one thing, and only one, to one day to be the lender and buyer of last resort, so they can create a global slave system. Why do you think, for example, the United States, let's focus on the United States, is the largest debtor nation in the history of the world? I showed you that chart yesterday. U.S. debt to GDP ratio since 2010. This is 2020, okay? We have gone way beyond that. This is the most recent chart I was able to find. Now, if you look here, it says 128.1%, the U.S. debt to GDP ratio. We're somewhere north of 136 right now, and it's going much, much higher. This is right here, part of the debt bubble, okay? And it's well, you tell me. It's gone parabolic. But you see, you're not supposed to know that. You're supposed to believe we're doing fantastic and it's tremendous. As a matter of fact, oh yeah, we heard the Federal Reserve, wage growth, their words, are you ready? Is robust. It's robust, wage growth. But what they're not telling you is real wages based against skyrocketing inflation is negative. Negative. People's purchasing power is evaporating. But no, it's part of the propaganda. People, you're going to be lied to more and more and more every single day moving forward. I'm telling you, we need to start a class action lawsuit against the propaganda ministry or something is out of control. They can't tell you the truth. They're worse than, they are prostituting themselves to the highest degree, reading scripts.
Economy's growing faster than any time in 40 years. We've got a record number of new jobs.
The economy is slowing down. Job growth is slowing down. And these unemployment numbers, first-time unemployment claims, unexpectedly rise. 373,000. Look, this is no surprise to you or me. It's an environment of, lies and propaganda and distraction. So what else would you expect? What are we doing here? Nothing. We're not growing. Our economy is contracting, as a matter of fact, very, very rapidly. And all you got to look at is the debt to GDP ratio, which is exploding, debts and deficits, ballooning, and we're being told everything is just great.
Wages are up faster than any time in 15 years.
Year over year, food prices are up 33.9% year over year. A lot of people would call that hyperinflation. It's unbelievable how our government is allowed to lie to us like this. But you're not allowed to lie to the government. You know that's a felony? That's all they do. Lies, distractions, misinformation, debt ballooning. And the only product of central banks is debt. Their power exists in one thing. Just one. Their ability to issue debt. If we had a real leader, maybe here in the United States, we're never going to get one because they're all slaves to the central banks, all of them. I don't care how great you think they are. I don't care how much you worship them. I don't care how badly you want them back in office. It doesn't matter anymore. We have no representation. It's just over in that respect here. The central banks, like I said, they got this covered. They've had this plan in action for over a century, and they've been slowly but surely moving toward their goal. And that's what this reset that people keep talking about is really about. A whole entire new set of rules, a new paradigm, a demographic shift like we've never seen before. Again, what did we find out just earlier in the week here? Luxury sales are skyrocketing. Meanwhile, people who are in the middle class continue to borrow beyond their eyeballs just to maintain their current status. And all they're doing is reassuring that they're going to drop into the lower tier of society. And it's in your face. It is in your face.
It's like you, Dad. I can't wait to live the American dream.
Well, actually...
What?
Oh, nothing.
It's ripe if we build our middle class. I need cash for food and gas, black light posters, beer and grass. Time for me to join the middle class. Oh, join the middle class. Oh, join the middle class.
Increased economic inequality, widespread real unemployment, wage stagnation, and a lower standard of living for millions of Americans.
They chopped salaries to raise stock prices,
Cut up the pie and kept all the slices.
tax breaks went to CEOs, never trickling down to average Joes. And so it came to pass,
Greedy rich men kicked our ass.
fiddling while they burned our middle class.
New car, no fancy house, no hot dinners cooked by your stay-at-home spouse.
Yeah.
You're gonna pinch every dollar and cent, and you'll still have to choose between healthcare and rent.
I'll probably just buy a PlayStation 6.
You're naive, but it'll pass. They'll repo your skateboard, you'll grow up fast. He's Jeff Bezos, we're just bozos. Goodbye, middle class. These are facts, they're not controversial. We can't even afford what they sell in this commercial. commercial.
Everywhere. Soon you're going to be happy to own nothing if you're not happy already about it. We have corporate America stronger than it's ever been. Record profits, windfalls. Big pharma, I mean, this is the greatest thing that can happen to them in the history of the world, this scandemic. Corporate America doing great. Small businesses all but wiped out. Middle class going away. They're going extinct. You have a target on your face. It is tattooed on your face, and you can't get it off if you're a member of the middle class. You are under attack. You've been under attack for years. Years. And it's just only going to get worse for you. And again, with these numbers coming out here, 29% of unemployed people who are actively looking for work, out of work for more than a year, that's supposed to be a booming economy. Look, they can throw any kind of numbers they want at you. These are the ones they're letting us know about. So the real numbers must be astronomically worse. Mortgage applications are down 8% in a year. 8% in 1 year. That's what a booming economy looks like. Oh yeah, just so you know. It could not possibly be any stronger. For corporate America, this is absolutely true. For the rich and the well-off, absolutely true. But for the middle class, the backbone of not just the United States, but the backbone of the world, they're dying.
A nuclear safety guy. I get tons of money for not blowing the town up.
Well, the thing about that is...
What?
Nothing. Forget I said anything.
And his buddies had it swell, but gradually it all went to hell. Factories closed, unemployment would spike.
Dying, going away. Definitely on the endangered species list. If you're a member of the middle class, you are an endangered species. People in debt beyond their eyeballs, consumer debt, personal debt, off the Richter scale, going to get much, much worse, but we're doing fantastic. The economy is cratering as a percentage of GDP at its fastest pace in history. We've never seen anything like it. Surging inflation, abysmal jobs numbers. What does this look like to you? Are you buying the mainstream? Oh, we're doing fantastic. And today, it's the funniest thing. They're sitting there after this horrible number today, this abysmal historic miss with regard to payrolls last month, and they're going, why? We're supposed to be doing so good. I tell you, what they're doing is lying to you, and that's what they're going to continue to do. I want you to ponder what I'm telling you. I want you to listen to what I'm saying here. An energy crisis, a food shortage crisis. We already have a cost of living crisis and everything else. Again, it's all about control. They want to push people to their breaking point. Why do they want to do this? Again, so they can institute more control, more of a stranglehold on everyone. That weight that you feel on your neck, well, that's a boot from the puppet governments at the behest of the real government. They are trying to kill you if you're a member of the middle class, and they're going to succeed. They already have succeeded, and they're going to continue this mechanism until the middle class is essentially gone, extinct, piece of history. So if you are a member of the middle class, that's what's going to be happening to you. As again, this massive wealth transfer effect continues right up to the 1% and 2%ers. You all know that. How else can Greg Mannarino prove to you that the Federal Reserve has no desire at all to stop surging inflation? Well, this is a chart right off the Federal Reserve's own website of the money supply. What do you notice here? Do you see any drop? Okay, no. The Federal Reserve continues to balloon the money supply. Now, I'm going to use the Federal Reserve Chairman's own words that inflation is largely a monetary policy issue. Do you see the Fed fighting inflation at all? I don't. Again, it's a game. Once you understand what's going on, this is going to be easy for you to get. The Fed is the enemy, okay? Forget about wars or anything else notwithstanding. The Federal Reserve is public enemy number one. Number one, okay? And they're destroying the people of the United States. They are destroying the people of the world via this inflation mechanism. They continue to tax them, this inflation tax, which is about to get much, much greater here. We have the current administration here in the United States. All they're talking about is more spending, more spending, more spending. And where does the cash come from, people? You need another look at it? Okay, the Fed is going to continue to balloon the money supply, balloon the debt that it's issuing. I've explained to you for years. The Fed is issuing debt through one door, buying it back through another door. Issuing debt through one door, buying it back through another door. This process is massively inflationary, and I'm still waiting for one of our loving, caring representatives to explain that to the American people, and they won't, because it's a game, and you are being played on a massive scale here. And people are going to suffer. They're going to suffer like they cannot possibly imagine. Moving forward, how does a dollar, whether it's a digital or printed out of thin air, how does it get its value? Do you believe, for example, that the moment the Federal Reserve adds a digit to a screen or prints a lovely dollar out of thin air, that it's automatically worth a dollar? How about no? That is not how it works. How it does work, every dollar added, okay, in order to gain some kind of purchasing power, must literally steal value, a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of value from every other existing bill. and no matter what form it exists in, whether it's a printed bill or whether it's a digit added to a screen. So as this continues, as the Fed continues to balloon the money supply, add debt to its balance sheet, every dollar they create has to steal value from every other existing bill in whatever form it exists. And what does that do? Well, again, in the words of our illustrious crime syndicate known as the Federal Reserve, and the chairman said it's largely a monetary issue. Yes, it is. Inflation is largely a monetary issue. So they have no interest at all, as I've explained to you forever now, in stopping inflation. In fact, they're going out of their way, I'll show you again, to create it. Go to the Fed's website, look at their balance sheet. It looks exactly the same. As they inflate the money supply, people, what's happening to the absolute strength is this. Every time the Fed is printing or creating cash out of thin air, it loses purchasing power. And who pays for it? Transitory inflation. That didn't work out. Let's release oil from the strategic reserves. That didn't work out. Let's print cash out of thin air. Let's balloon the money supply. Let's balloon the debt. And we really want to fight inflation. Oh, yeah. President Biden's time. We're really going to do something about inflation this time. Oh, really? What are you going to do about this, you imbecile president? What are you going to do? Nothing. Zero. Are you ever going to point your finger at the Federal Reserve? No. You're going to point your finger at Russia. It's their fault. It's their fault for everything, you know? Again, they need a scapegoat. So I think they've chosen it. And they're going to try to convince people that that's what it is now. You see, this has all been well planned out a long time ago. And central banks, they got the world by the throat. They have you by the throat. They have me by the throat. And they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop until millions of people die. Millions of people die. Tens of millions. So, are you going to be one of those dead because of that institution? Well, odds are probably. I want you to think about it. Another warning from the IMF about surging inflation. This is a quote. Surging inflation, especially here in the United States, could deal a lethal blow to the global economy.